Asutata Satri Shrimad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sakaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gauda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamkun Radha Kundi Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dhamma Ki Jai. Mayapur Navadip Dhamma Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dhamma Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. Harinama Sankirtana Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki. I'm going to get into Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Second canto, 4th chapter, and 11th text. Sutta Uvacha Et Yupamantrito Rangya Et Yupamantrito Rangya Gunanu Katane Hare Rishikesham Manusmritya Prativaktum Prachakrame Sutta Uvacha Ityupamantrito Ragya Gunanu Katane Hare Rishikesham Manusmritya Prativaktum Prachakrame Sutta Uvacha Ityupamantrito Ragya Gunanu Katane Hare Rishikesham Manusmritya Prativaktum Prachakrame. Please. Sutta Vacha Vacha Ityupamantrito Ragya Ityupamantrito ragya gunanukatane hare prativaktum chakrame. Ladies, please. Ityupaman Rishikeshamanuskripya Tivaktum Pachakrame Gunakripanahan Hare Rishikeshamanuskripya Prativaktum Pachakrame. Sutta Uvacha. Sutta Goswami said, excuse me, is it possible to get this little book? Iti thus. Upamantritaha, being requested, Ragya, by the king, Anukatane, in describing the transcendental attributes of the Lord, Hare, of the personality of Godhead, Rishikesham, the master of the senses, Anusmritya, properly remembering, Prativaktum, just to reply, Prachakrame, executed the preliminaries. This needs to be fixed. Yeah. You want me? Yeah, go ahead. Thank you very much. A little lower, please, because it's blocking my vision. Fine, it's good. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Sutta Goswami said, I was going to do it first myself and then we can do it together. It's not necessary though. Sutta Goswami said, when Shukdeva Goswami was thus requested by the king to describe the creative energy of the personality of Godhead, he then systematically remembered the master of the senses, Sri Krishna, and to reply properly, he spoke thus. Together, Sutta Goswami said, when Shukdeva Goswami was thus requested by the king to describe the creative energy of the personality of Godhead, he then systematically remembered the master of the senses, Sri Krishna, and to reply properly, he spoke thus. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The devotees of the Lord, while delivering speeches and describing the transcendental attributes of the Lord, do not think that they can do anything independently. They think that they can speak only what they are induced to speak by the Supreme Lord, the master of the senses. So these are advanced souls, advanced devotees, who can receive the knowledge, receive guidance directly from the Supreme Lord. Therefore, they know what they are supposed to say, and they know how they are supposed to say it, since they have direct communication with the Lord. The senses of the individual being are not his own. The devotee knows that such senses belong to the Supreme Lord and that they can be properly used when they are employed for the service of the Lord. The senses are instruments and elements are ingredients, all endowed by the Lord. Therefore, whatever an individual can do, speak, see, etc., is under the direction of the Lord only. The Bhagavad Gita 15:15 confirms this. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness, the verse reads. The Bhagavad Gita confirms this. Sarvasya chaham vriddhi sanavishto matha smritir jnanam apohanam cha. No one is free to act freely, independently, and as such, one should always seek the permission of the Lord to act or eat or speak. And by the blessing of the Lord, everything done by a devotee is beyond the principles of the four defects typical of the conditioned soul, which are: we make mistakes, we're in illusion, we have a tendency to cheat, and what's the fourth one? Starts with we have imperfect senses. Okay? I'll repeat those. We make mistakes, we're in illusion, we have a tendency to cheat others, sometimes ourselves as well. And we have imperfect senses. We don't see everything as they are. Om Ajnanati Mirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Unmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto his lotus feet. So I would just like to take the first item which comes to my mind, which we can all learn from. It said, when Shukdeva Goswami was thus, this is the translation, Shukdeva Goswami was thus requested by the king to describe the creative energy of the personality of Godhead. Thank you. He then systematically remembered the master of the senses. Systematically means in an organized, arranged fashion. For example, if you have a set of numbers and they are systematically arranged, they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But if they are not systematically arranged, they may go 1, 3, 8, 4, 2, 1, like that. They're not systematically. They're not arranged in a sequence. So Shukdeva Goswami, he then systematically remembered. In other words, he had his way of remembering. He just didn't pull at little pieces of information and throw them together and give them to us. He had such a great, incredible memory that he could just close his eyes for a few moments or minutes and get everything in order, and then in order he would then give the information that he was requested to give, which was to describe the creative energy of the personality of Godhead. So he systematically remembered the master of the senses, and that, of course, is Sri Krishna. This is a very telling and very useful habit to get into. Now, Shukdeva Goswami, he didn't have to do this. He didn't have to remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His memory was just so fascinating, so great, that he could just begin. But he knew that if he is to do this properly, if he's to do this in a useful, loving, productive manner, then he should take shelter. He should take the guidance. He should take the blessings of the Supreme Lord first, before beginning this lengthy recitation of, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, 12,000 verses. Is that correct? Bahama? 18. Thank you very much. So that's a lot to remember. That's a lot to offer, to give. So he wanted the blessings of the Lord. And if he got the blessings of the Lord, there would be no problems in giving this information, which would not only be for King Pariksit, but it would really go for the whole world for many, many centuries to come. As we can see, Sutta Goswami was sitting there, his eyes closed, his mind focused on every single word that Shukdeva Goswami and Pariksit Maharaj was saying, and remembering, which is amazing, remembering every one of those words, so that when he would go to the Naimisharanya forest, where there would be a big sacrifice going on, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, 1,000 years, is that right? So there would be a big sacrifice, and at that sacrifice, he would give this Srimad Bhagavatam, and he would be asked by great sages different aspects of it. So it's amazing that he could just start at one point and then go on. We could see how we have deteriorated since then in terms of our memory. Here is, and Shukdeva Goswami also remembered what Vyasadeva taught him, and he rattled it or rolled it off his tongue as if it was an everyday conversation. So the memory has definitely deteriorated compared to what it once was. And so if they think we have evolved, they better think again and read Dhruta Karma's book. So, no, this is not evolution. This is truly devolution. It's a bring down rather than a raise up. And we can truly learn from this. So the important point, though, for all of us, is that when we begin anything which is a glorious or wonderful or an amazing feat, it can even be a class such as this, because this is going to go a long way, and people are going to hear it, and they will listen to it, and they will rehear it, and it will play a very useful part in the way they live their lives, which could be blessed, beneficial, and if the class is not given very well, if it's given indifferently, if it's given uncaringly, if it's given thoughtlessly, then what will happen is that it will not have the fruit, the sweet fruit that it has the power to deliver. So, therefore, what we learn from this is before we start anything, even a simple thing like accepting prasadam, food prasadam. This is great. This is filled with Krishna. And if it is filled with Krishna, it's not just food. We tend to allow things that come forth from us to be regarded in a very casual, indifferent, almost thoughtless fashion, because we do it every day, and therefore it loses its significance when we don't do what Shukdeva Goswami Shukdeva Goswami does, which he gives all respects, all honor, all glorification to the Supreme Lord, and gets the blessing of the Lord, and then gives this wonderful discourse in question-response manner. So we can learn that. And what it does, it solemnizes, it makes sacred what we do, rather than it just being ordinary, casual, and even indifferent. I have seen quite often, even in our prasadam room, when the prayer Sharira Rijja Judendriya Taikal is being given, some people are talking in one place, other people are kind of looking around. It's not being given what it should be. Those words are very, very important. I'm sorry that we don't have the English translations as well. Oh my Lord, this material body is a lump of ignorance, and the senses are a network of paths leading to death. Somehow or other we have fallen to the ocean of material sense enjoyment, and of all the senses, the tongue is the most voracious and uncontrollable. It's very difficult to conquer over the tongue, but you, dear Krishna, are so very kind, and have given us this nice prasadam, spiritual food, just to conquer the tongue. So, now we take this prasadam to our full satisfaction, and in doing so, glorify your Lordship, Sri Radha and Krishna, and in love call for the help of Lord Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, and Srila Prabhupada, of course. So those are very beautiful words and beautiful sentiments, and they endear us to the Lord because we are giving deep appreciation for something that ordinarily we may not have any appreciation for, except the wonderful taste that some of our cooks give it. But it goes beyond taste, or put it another way, the taste is filled with Krishna. And if we're not thinking of Krishna, then there will be benefit in spite of that, but there can be so much more benefit when we are appreciative or grateful and very satisfied that Krishna has given us this. So many people in the world are not even going to eat today, let alone eat prasadam. So we are very fortunate in that respect. Yeah, there's so many thousands of people who will not eat in different parts of the world, and even in the United States. So, getting to the part that I was. So, it says here that the devotees of the Lord, while delivering speeches and describing the transcendental attributes of the Lord, do not think that they can do anything independently. Now, this is advanced devotee. A neophyte doesn't think this. A neophyte is just here to learn. But advanced devotees, while they are, as it's meant over here, while delivering speeches and describing the transcendental attributes of the Lord, do not think that they can do anything independently. This is Srila Prabhupada. He's giving a lecture, but he's giving a lecture or talk in the understanding and in the in the hope that Krishna will actually take over his speech. Even though Srila Prabhupada is always depending upon Krishna, nonetheless he never takes anything for granted. He's hopeful that Krishna will occupy his speech, and that speech will go out, and the blessings and the benefits of a pure devotee will go here, there, and everywhere. So, knowing that that will happen if I depend upon Krishna, then that will happen if I depend upon Krishna, then therefore what am I going to do? I'm going to depend upon Krishna. So it says, do not think that they can do anything independently. No, I need your help, Lord. I need your guidance. I need your direction. I need your power. I need your understanding. Please let it flow through me so that everyone listening will feel it and then will express it. And being expressed, it will go here, there, and so many places. And this mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will thereby be fulfilled. So, these pure devotees, advanced devotees, think that they can speak only what they are induced to speak by the Supreme Lord. So what does that mean? It means that they're in touch with the Super Soul. If you're induced, it means someone is saying something to you. Someone is inclining you to something. Someone is directing you to something. So they think that they can speak only what they are induced to speak, not just what they want to speak. That's not the way it works. They will speak only what the Supreme Lord wants them to speak. And the result of that is that everyone will get God's word, as opposed to some made-up batch of words. The senses, they think that they can speak only what they are induced to speak by the Supreme Lord, the master of the senses. The senses of the individual being are not his own. Well, who are they? They belong to Krishna. The senses belong to Krishna. The head belongs to Krishna. The feet belong to Krishna. Everything in the whole body, the eyes, the nose, the tongue, all of that belongs to Krishna. Therefore, this body must be what? It must be dedicated to. It must be given to. And it must be done in such a way that one is very one is very appreciative of the fact that he gets that opportunity to speak something, or say something, or do something which is being ordered by the Supreme Lord. One of the reasons we have our country, all countries, in such horrible, terrible shape is that all the leaders are just thinking that what they think is the right answer to solve all the problems. They have no super soul guidance, no super soul realization like King Pariksit did, like King Yudhishthira did. So they had perfect guidance, perfect direction, and as a result of this perfect direction, everything went on properly. In the time of Lord Ramachandra also, there were no diseases, no accidents, none of the problems that we have today, like the coronavirus. Those are the result of sin. And sin is the result of disregarding, ignoring, not caring for the laws, the rules of the Supreme Lord. Who cares about his laws? I have my laws. I can make up laws. Why is he better than me? This mentality is what runs rampant through society today. Everyone thinks he is a leader. Everyone thinks he is a lord. Everyone thinks he's important. And as a result of that, all they do is fight, fight, fight. Conflict, conflict, conflict. They don't bow to the higher, or they don't even understand that the world is being run by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The planets are going around in their orbits. The sun is being turned around over and over. The days are being created by the dark and the night. So nobody seems to think that this is being done by a person. They think it's just being done automatically by just energy. And where does the energy come from? Where does it come from? It's just there. Just there. How just there? What about the energy of my body? Is that just there? How do my eyes work? Energy just there? No, all this comes from the highest source of mental and physical and intellectual power. And that is all over because Super Soul is present everywhere and anywhere and is operating in all places and in all persons. So this is a very important principle. It's the difference between regarding matter as mere matter and matter as something that cannot operate unless it is operated by someone who has the power to make it work according to the will of the one who's trying to make it work. So, next point. The devotee knows that such senses belong to the Supreme Lord and that they can be properly used when they are employed for the service of the Lord. This is so important. If everything belongs to Krishna, then we should, as best as we can, engage it in the loving service of Krishna, and Krishna will, of course, be pleased. I remember I was doing a class in Alachua, and I made this same point, is that everything belongs to Krishna, and therefore what should be done is we should offer everything that we have in our presence, in our midst, to Krishna, and beg for his blessings upon it. And having done that, we can then, for example, let's say it's food or shelter, it could be clothing, whatever it is, but we receive it from Krishna and we accept it from Krishna. And accepting it from Krishna, Krishna is pleased that we are not taking the credit for ourselves, such as, well, you know, I did this and I did that and I did this and there, now I have this, and I'm the doer of all this. I'm the controller of all this. This would not have happened if I hadn't taken the trouble to do it. So this is a complete fallacy, complete nonsense. That's not the way it works. When Krishna wants something done, for example, he wanted the battle of Kurukshetra to be done in order to get rid of so many of the impious kings who were causing hell throughout the world, then it would not have happened. but he wanted it. And he knew who he wanted to be the heroes too, which was, of course, the Pandavas. So the point is this, when I was in Alachua, after I finished the talk and I had concluded that everything belongs to Krishna and should be used in the service of Krishna, and we should stop trying to take credit for all the things we do, because we couldn't move our hands without Krishna's mercy. We couldn't see without his mercy. We couldn't think without his mercy. So how can you take any credit for this? He's given you the will to do it. If he withdraws that will, if he takes it back, you can't do anything. You're helpless. And right now, as I speak, certain people are losing the use of their hands. Some are losing the use of their feet. Some can't walk. Some can't even swallow. All these things are being withdrawn for one reason or another. And ultimately, Krishna is in control. It can either be through karma, something that is owed to the person, or in the case of a devotee, we don't call it karma, we call it grace, because the devotee will benefit by the difficulty or the trial or the tribulation. And as a result of that, the devotee will become purified even more so than he is, and will be able to be of better service to the Lord or to the whole world. So this is a very important point. But the thing is, after I finished the class there, the person said to me, he said, well, you say we have to give all the credit to Krishna. But can I take a little bit of credit? He said like that. I said, you want to take credit? You want credit? He said, well, yeah, I put a lot of work into it. You did nothing. You did absolutely nothing. Krishna gave you the energy. He gave you the strength. He gave you the determination. He gave you the intellectual ability. He gave you the feeling. What did you do? You just took the blessings and did what he allowed you to do. And that's the important point. Once we realize when we walk, we're being allowed to walk. When we talk, we're being allowed to talk. Allowed by whom? The ruler of this body, Rishikesha. So this is important. So I told him, if you want to take some credit, then you want to steal Krishna's credit. Do you want to be a thief from Krishna? And by the way, he'll know it. He's omniscient, by the way. He knows everything. He says, well, no, I don't think so. I hope not. So that was the end of that. There was no more desires to want to take credit. And that goes for all of us. I'm going to conclude this with this particular point. Very often we may put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy. But again, all that is coming from the mercy of Krishna. Even we put on a wonderful, beautiful, glorious Rath Yatra festival. But in the ultimate analysis, it can't go on unless Lord Jagannath gives us his blessings. And when he gives us the blessings, they go on nicely. We should not think it's because we're such great devotees that these things are going on nicely. No, that's not the way it works. The Lord sees our efforts, sees our sincerity, sees our purity, sees our dedication, sees our devotion, and says, yes, they're doing so nice. I'm going to assist in every way I can so that they can make this a grand, wonderful festival. And in that way, they will glorify me, and I being glorified, people will wonder about who I am and what I do, and that way, Krishna consciousness will be spread all over the world. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Wait. It's a big stretch. Read about it or I had this K on there. And I asked them if they put an R to fill for Radha. They put it, can you see that she's a little thinner? Yeah. That was done by them, through you. Radha is actually not as good. So there you are. It's authorized.